Like Tropicana, I got the juice. All for the least, let the dog loose. Don't make me call up the crew. Now they getting scared when I call up a truce. I'm the one like Neil, cocky like Teal. Nobody can guard me like I'm shooting a free throw. This is illegal, my flow is legal. And it's me, it will never be a sequel. See, I'm fly like a pelican. And while I'm here, yeah, I'm gonna represent. If you're sick, then I'll be your medicine. And you already know who I'm better than. No doubt, yep, I'm a veteran. And when done, you gon' think you got ran over by elephants. Since I came, ain't been the same like ever since. And that talking, yeah, it better end. I'm coming! Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming! I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. I'm coming! Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming! I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. This is my world, my way, my life. And if I gotta do it, I gotta do it right. So everything I want, go ahead and give me that. The girl with me, just know that you ain't getting it back. Yeah, she want a bad boy, and I'm all about my cash, boy. She be all up in the jag, boy. I know that make you mad, boy, but don't make me beat your ass, boy. So don't go there. Your career's like a treadmill. You're running, but you ain't going nowhere. Me, on the other hand, I can blow 100 stacks and bounce back rubber band. 30 carats here, 100 on the other hand. I do me, I don't worry about another man. I'm way past them, got them playing catch up. And I'll be right there if you ever mess up. I'm coming! Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming! I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. I'm coming! Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming! I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. No, yeah, you don't.
All right, welcome to the Jeff Mayweather Show. My name is Alexz Yzerman. Great show tonight lined up for you here. We have a couple of models on the show tonight, but we're not going to talk about me and Jeff all night. We're also going to be joined by Ashley Ferrara, and Mikaela Mayer is going to be joining the show a little later. And first we're going to be joined by oh, did you just catch that, Ashley?
No, I got that.
And first we're going to be joined by...
I was just picturing you and Jeff on a runway, and it was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't get any better than that, let me tell you. We are sexy men. Before that, we're going to be joined by Brian Very. He's going to be joining us in just a couple minutes. As usual, we're having a little bit of difficulties here, but we're going to get him on the line just 1 second. So he'll be joining us. He's got a big fight coming up Friday night on ESPN. So we're going to discuss that and some other things. Before he gets on, Jeff, anything going on? I haven't been to the gym in a couple days, so what's going on with you up there? First, let's talk about Zach Cooper. Congratulations, moved to 2-0 this weekend. Tell us a little about that.
Well, I mean, once again, Zach pretty much listened to the game plan. Early on, first round, I mean, he got caught up, and because the guy's an MMA fighter, the guy was very durable, but the guy was also very weird. And so, he just threw the guy was just throwing big punches, and Zach, stooped down to his level and wasn't thinking and was doing the exact same thing. And so by the time Zach got back to the corner, I had to tell him, I said, Zach, you got to relax. I said, you're a much better fighter than him, but you're fighting at his level. And so then Zach started using his jab. And then I seen once Zach hit the guy to the body, the guy would, we would really get a good reaction. And so I just, in the third round, I told Zach, I said, just stay to his body. I said, he'll quit. And basically that's what happened.
Yeah. Going forward, I mean, like I said, did you see a lot of progression? His first fight, it's hard to tell. There's a whole 30 seconds there, so it wasn't exactly, a lot to base it off of. But, from first fight to second fight, I know it's a learning phase for him. He had some amateur fights, but how's he been progressing?
No, well, the thing is that, the most important thing for a coach is that when you tell a fighter to do something, that's why you're in this corner. You know better sometimes than they do because you're the eyes. And so basically, I'm I'm pretty impressed with Zach because, like I said, the most important thing is, that's why I am the head coach and that's why I'm the trainer is because, I can see things that he can't, and at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want a fighter that, when you come up with a game plan, to go out there and execute it. And so, I'm very thrilled about it and looking forward to, doing it again soon.
Right. Hey, now, actually, moving on to you for a second here, you got to be a little bit bummed out. Your buddy there, Lydell Rhodes, is fighting in Vegas this time. We got a couple of Mayweather boxers going to go at it here in a couple weeks. On May 3rd, the day before Floyd's fight, Lydell is going to be fighting Don Moore. How disappointed are you? Your buddy Lydell's not going to be out there?
I mean, I really honestly could not be happier for him. He deserves it. He's worked really hard for this opportunity, and honestly, I'm really happy for him. Nobody deserves it more than he does because I feel like I know how hard he's worked. So, of course, we'd love to have him here, but I will be the first one to say that I am happy for him out there. And I mean, come on. Vegas is way cooler than Oklahoma.
Oh, I don't know about that. Jeff, you've been out to Oklahoma. What do you think?
I think Ashley has it right.
In Oklahoma, we have to pay state income tax, and I don't appreciate that.
Well, that's one thing we are definitely lucky about. Hey, guys, well, Jeff, let's, another huge fight this weekend taking place in Vegas here. You got the Mike Alvarado and Brandon Rios fight. Last year, a lot of people had that as their fight of the year. But a lot of times the second fight seems to fail to live up to the first one. Your thoughts on that? And is there any chance it's going to be as good as the first one?
I mean, I think it's going to be as good as the first one because I think that both guys, they're both looking for a knockout, first and foremost. And I think that, just the fact of Alvarado, I didn't see nothing special, when it came down to trying to change his game plan. I think that he has a chance if he actually had a coach that could teach him how to box, use his reach, use his height, and things like that. But I don't think that he even wants to do that. I don't even care if he had the right coach. I don't think that because he said once he gets hit, he wants to go to war. And I think if he goes to war with Rios, he's going to lose again, and by knockout.
Yeah. Ashley, what about you? You're taking the fight?
Well, see, I'm also really excited to watch this fight because, the last one was so good. I tend to think that, since Alvarado was training in Colorado, I know that he's had some issues when he's trained out there, so that might not be the best for him. But I do know that it is very hard to beat the same person twice, so we'll see.
Yeah.
No matter how it ends up, I just hope it's as good of a fight.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't know, Jeff, was I talked to Ryan Martinez a little bit. He's cousins apparently with Mike, so I guess does that make you have to lean to Mike to support your fighter?
Well, I guess I'll lean my support to him because, but at the same time, it is what it is. I'm not going to say that I think that Alvarado's going to win because of that, because I think that Alvarado had a chance when he was boxing, but if he doesn't stick to the game plan, and that's something that he said himself, that once I get hit, I'm going to war. But he's not going to win that kind of fight with Rios. Rios is a dog, and and this guy, he can take it and he can dish it out, So I think that, it's just one of those situations where if it goes to war, I have to favor Rios.
Yeah. All right, I just spoke about Ryan Martinez. I'm still trying to get Brian Vera on here, so I'm going to work on something. I'm going to go offline here for a second. But talk about a little bit about Jeff. For those that don't know, Jeff's working in MMA this last Thursday. Bellator had a great fight there. It was supposed to be a tough fight, but Ryan Martinez against Travis Wolf knocked him out in 16 seconds, I guess the time was. So So Jeff, tell us about that and getting to watch a fighter like that whose boxing's really come around, and of course he gave you all the credit at the end. So tell us about what went on with Ryan and how that fight turned out. And I'll be back in just 1 second.
Well, I mean, the one thing with Ryan is I think that he's a guy that's thirsty for knowledge. He wants to get better. He's an extremely hard worker, and he punches extremely hard. I mean, harder than anyone else that I've held the mitts for. So, with that being said, I mean, once he hits somebody upside the head, I would hate to see the reaction from it. And I guess, we got a chance to see the reaction last Thursday.
Yeah, I was lucky. I actually did get to watch that. And, I mean, Travis, he's a seasoned veteran. He can take a punch, but I was shocked when he just went down right away. I mean, it was obviously very powerful, and I just couldn't believe it. What do you think he was as surprised that it happened so quickly?
I don't necessarily think so, because I mean he's a guy who's extremely confident. He's confident, but he's not the type of confident where he brags about himself. He's a guy that's been reformed, and I can see it. The reform Ryan Martinez. I mean, he's very, very humble. He's very gracious and very appreciative of everything, and that's what you want as a fighter, just as a human being, And I mean, and basically, I don't think that he has a confidence, but it's more like a quiet confidence that it's within him, and he might share a little bit, with me sometimes, but for the most part, I mean, he's a guy who just, he goes out there and he puts the work in, and he's happy just to be a part of something right now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came through in, the little video that they did before the fight, that he was obviously very thankful even for the chance, to be where he is now. And it's such a feel-good story that somebody can end up like that. And I'm sure that people watching, and I hope that people watching could take away that maybe if they have, been in a situation that they weren't so happy with, or felt like they maybe didn't, it wasn't the best situation, that they can come back and do really great things and put your life in a good spot.
Definitely. I mean, be, inspiration.
Yeah. All right, guys, it looks like I can't get hold of Brian, so it looks like we're going to move on without him. We do have, like I said, Mikaela Mayer is going to be joining us at 7:30. Hopefully we'll have a little better luck with her. But, we can talk. We don't need Brian on here. We can talk about lots of other stuff. Of course, Jeff, everything's ramping up there. Floyd's. What I miss? What are you laughing for?
I'm just laughing at you. No, nothing in particular.
It's hard work being back here trying to get everything lined up, but you got to do what you got to do. And anyway, so yeah, Jeff, like I said, things are ramping up there at Floyd's gym. He's there every day. It's kind of a circus in there. How are things going, and anything new on that front?
Well, I mean, basically, everyone that's ever been to that gym knows that when Floyd fights, it becomes a sideshow, and they're not necessarily saying that in a bad way, because it's just so many people, want to get a chance to see Floyd, take a picture with him, touch him, or whatever the case may be. And I can understand that, and I can relate to it, because Floyd's kind of like the Muhammad Ali of this era. The same thing like when I was growing up. The only person I ever wanted an autograph from or a picture with was Muhammad Ali. I didn't care. I never cared about no other fighter or anything like that. So it's kind of like that. So you have people that come from near and far. If they happen to be in Vegas, they try any way they can to get into the gym. And probably about 50% of them Facebook me. So they use my name to get in. And no, but Floyd campus going real well. Got some very good sparring partners in there, and he's doing real well. And I'm looking forward to this fight. I think more than I anticipated, because of the type of sparring that's going on. It's it's not always a cakewalk. It's not Floyd just beating up these guys. You know, I mean, some of them are holding their own. You know, and that, you know, to a lot of people that's surprising, but to me it's not. It's one of those things in which, you know, I appreciate that because I know that makes him dig down more and more. And the next time out, he does a whole lot better. So one of those situations where, you know, it's everybody's there is just in awe. You know, I mean, even Floyd's even surprising me. As long as I've known him, some of the things that he's doing is kind of like, I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming. You know, so it's one of those situations.
You know,
everybody's just happy.
How difficult, you know, the one thing that was kind of weird when him and 50 split up, you know, it seemed at first, you know, it was kind of like, man, the gym was dead all of a sudden, and you kind of wondered, man, is this promotion thing not going to do too well? And then things kind of changed completely. Now the place is, you know, I don't know, I've been there 2.5 years, I guess, in and out of the gym. It seems more happening than ever. I mean, it's busy. There's tons of fighters coming up that Jalen loves. The Ishe just got the title. All the other guys working on the gym. The promotion thing seems to be going really well. First of all, just, you know, am I wrong as far as the impression? Like things seemed a little bit difficult at first. And how did he turn them around, if so? And second of all, how does running a promotion distract, if at all, from you know, being a boxer? I mean, it's you know, I think he's the biggest current boxer, but, you know, it seems like a lot of these boxers have their own little promotions now. So talk to us a little about the distractions of doing that.
Well, I don't think I mean, you have to have a team. When you're an active fighter, you have to have a team that actually does the work. You know, you're basically, it's just your name attached to it. And so, for the most part, I mean, Floyd has a crew, you know, guys that actually go out and do the work. And for the most part, it's Golden Boy, who's already established and know exactly what they're doing. So, you don't really have to do much at all, other than loan his name to the promotion as co-promoter.
Ashley, what are your thoughts as far as the, you know, just as far as the whole, I don't know how familiar you are with the money team and all that kind of stuff, but you know, the things that have been going on with them for the last, you know, little bit, and how they seem to have really taken up lately.
No, I mean, I definitely follow it pretty closely because, you know, as a law student, you know, we like business models and like to follow how they work well, and I think that you do see the ones that work well and that don't work well. You know, the ones that are emerging as the better promotion groups really do have an eye on profit and grooming new talent, and that's been really good to see. I mean, you see, you know, you see Mayweather doing that, you see Golden Boy doing that, and you know, even Canelo Promotions, he has a lot of cards out of Mexico that I think will be good for his promotion company in the future. But I think the real question, you know, that I would love to know the answer to is, Jeff, have you been watching Dancing with the Stars to see Ortiz?
No, I haven't. How's he doing?
And who would last longer in Dancing with the Stars, Floyd or Ortiz? I mean, that's the real question, you know. I think Ortiz was pretty bad, so I don't think he was in the bottom two in the first week, so it doesn't get much worse than that. I thought he had better footwork.
Jeff, what did you think of when Floyd was on there? Did you watch him when he was dancing?
Yeah, I watched it. I think that with Floyd, I think that he did everything too aggressive as opposed to being smooth. And that, you know, because that's what they want to see. They want to see, you know, it's almost like, you know, it's something that you know how to do without, you know, without having to struggle with it or anything like that. Because Floyd was very aggressive with the woman he was dancing with. So it was kind of like,
well, Jeff,
it was kind of like, hey, I slow down.
Well, I think, Jeff, you're the only smooth Mayweather. I think all the other ones are all aggressive. That's their nature. You're the smooth one.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I need to get you. I've seen your dance moves. You know, I think you'd be great for that show. Maybe we need a campaign for you.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be on the next one.
Hey, Ashley, you'd mentioned school. I wanted to get a topic off of that in a second, but give us the update. How are our finals coming?
Oh my gosh, less than 7 weeks, and I can't even describe to you how exciting that is. Last week we had spring break, and so this is the last push for it. But I had to buy my cap and gown yesterday, and it was $174. So if the boxing promotion business doesn't work out for anybody, selling caps and gowns seems to be where the money's at.
Yeah, some you wear once and throw away. They're usually made like some paper thin, right?
I know, and they're telling us we have to have all these special ones because it's law school. But honestly, I really think that they're just trying to get my money, and I think I might even enter the cap and gown business at some point.
Well, here's something I want to discuss to you. We'll go with you first, Ashley.
I'm disappointed that we didn't get Brian Vera on because I ring-carded one of his fights last year. So, he's a good old Texas boy, and I was rooting for him, but I'm a little upset with him right now.
I know. I don't know what happened. Now the call's going straight to voicemail a few times. Talked to him this morning. He's been on the phone. He was on the show before the last Sergio Mora fight, so a little disappointed with him. I know he's got a fight here in just a couple days, so maybe he got tied up. So hopefully we'll be able to reschedule. Do what?
I said he could be resting.
It could be. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, something I wanted to get your we'll get him back on, Ashley. We'll get him on next week if he gets a win here this week. We'll bring him on next week, and you can talk to him. Something I want to get your legal opinion on, and then we'll get Jeff's non-legal boxing opinion on. Just a topic in MMA not too long ago was the transgender thing. There's a woman in MMA named Fallon Fox who was discovered after 2 professional fights to have been a man.
Yep.
Previously, and she got the surgery and all that kind of thing. So my question is for both of you: do you think she should be able to compete in MMA, or could should a female transgender boxer be able to compete? And Ashley, let me ask you this: most people seem to say no. If you were the lawyer for Fallon Fox or some other woman trying to do that, what would be how would you go about trying to get her commissioned?
The only thing you could argue is that she is no longer of the classification of a man. That's really the only thing you could argue. I guess you would have to argue equal protection and say that her constitutional rights to fight in a sanctioned match are prohibited because they're not letting her fight. Honestly, it's a stretch because she's not really of a protected class. She's I don't know. It's an interesting one because when they do have the issues with female track or female, potentially male track athletes, when they have the similar chromosomes, they have been disqualified. So I will tell you that being a female, if I was a fighter, I sure as heck would not want to be in the ring with somebody who I thought may have that kind of advantage. If it is an advantage. I don't even know, though.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I'm not a legal, a doctor or anything, and I guess there has been some Olympic things where they've allowed them to, but from my understanding is no matter how much, hormones or whatever, you still have the bigger skeleton, the stronger bones, the larger heart and all that kind of stuff. You have to wonder, and, I don't know. And now, Jeff, I know you've dated a transgender woman before, so what are your thoughts? Should they be able to compete?
That transgender woman was you. What you think?
Oh, you dated me?
Yeah.
When did we go out? Must have been drunk that night.
Yeah. You still drunk. No.
I just don't understand how... And there's really no legal precedent at all for it. It's never really been... Because a lot of the sports have stipulations for that circumstance. So that's why there's really not a lot of precedent.
Well, and before I get to you, the one thing that's interesting to me is that a lot of these women, I've talked to a lot of fighters in boxing and MMA, and a lot of them have said, well, I wouldn't do it if they want to fight as long as their opponent knows about it. It's okay. Well, I don't buy that argument because let's say, for example, Ronda Rousey said, okay, I'll fight her, and then let's say Fallon Fox won. Now she's holding the UFC title, so now if you want to get a title, you have to fight her. So it's not really fair to say, oh, well, if the woman agrees to fight her, because then, like I said, all of a sudden you have someone hold the title, then you kind of have to fight her if you want to get to the highest level. So, that's kind of interesting to me. Jeff, go ahead.
No, I mean, me, myself, personally, I mean, a man, I don't care about that change crap, gender, whatever. It doesn't change. It still doesn't. I don't think it still change the person that's inside. I mean, I just don't. I don't believe it. And I know that you can take a guy, for instance, like a male that's probably an average fighter. They probably can't whoop very many people in the gym. Could probably be able to get in there with a woman. I don't care how much training she's got, anything like that, because a man has a different type of makeup. I mean, his strength, his velocity, everything is, it's totally different. It's on a whole different level. That's just like, for instance, Layla Ali, the best woman boxer in the world. I boxed with Layla Ali. I played with her. And I was retired for I don't know how many years, and I was still able to play with her. And that's what I'm saying. That's the advantage of a person that actually is a male. I don't believe in all that. You go get you get your little wee cut off that makes you a woman. It don't. So to me, I just think it's totally unfair. I think that if you're a transgender, you should only fight a transgender. You shouldn't fight a woman.
Well, I'm married, so I got my wee cut off 5 years ago, so maybe I should see if I can compete. I'll try.
I understand your point about her potentially
That was a little
being...
cut.
Hey, guys, you continue on the conversation real quick, guys. I'll get Mikaela Mayer on the phone, so go ahead and continue this conversation.
I think that, Alexz makes the point of, potentially her being the title holder, but there's nothing stopping them from stripping her of the title because of that, I don't think. There's certain, the WBC loves to strip people of their titles for some or no reason, so I don't necessarily think that it would be a roadblock, and it wouldn't be just one weight class.
But what you got to realize, Ashley, is this. Why even give them an opportunity if you're just going to turn around and strip them? It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I don't understand how it could be fair, but I really, I don't know enough. I don't really know any of the medical mechanics of it, except, I understand the obvious, and it sounds very unpleasant. But I guess, I wonder why she even got into something like this, knowing that this could be such an issue. It seems like kind of all of her eggs are in not a great basket. And, she said she didn't necessarily want to be, oh, gosh, that was a bad joke.
That's how I was going to comment on that. Eggs basket.
That was awful. That was unintentional. And I lost my train of thought.
All right, and I'm still working on getting Mikaela here, so hopefully we get that fixed. It's one of those nice guys, so we'll continue on here. Right? She messaged me a second number as a fax number. So what's that?
I think she's coming on because she told me in the gym that I'll be on tonight.
Yeah, she messaged me and said her regular phone was not working, and she gave me a new number, but I just called it was a fax number, so I just messaged her, so hopefully we'll get her on here momentarily, and we will move on from the eggs in the basket conversation here.
I think this is
Jeff,
a great idea.
Jeff, what's next? Is Celestino next for you? Is that the next thing you got on tap? And what's it, April 20th, I believe? And when are you heading to Panama for that?
I think I'm going to be heading there probably on the 14th. Yeah, so, and he's doing real well, and, he's getting prepared, he's getting the weight down, so we're doing good.
You guys have to tell me what the weather's like out there, because it was awful here today.
Oh, it was pretty rough. It was a little bad, Jeff. Today. It was like in the mid-60s today, wasn't it? It wasn't that terribly warm. Or was that, no, yesterday. Today was better than that.
No,
Yeah.
But I mean, in Vegas, the weather, it all depends on what time it is. At around about 3 o'clock, it's probably about 75 degrees. It was kind of...
Well, here it depends, too. At 7 a.m. when I left for class, it was 26, and then by noon, it was probably 34, so it really warmed up in the interim.
Well, you know, I know you're in Oklahoma. It's not too bad. It's not like you're in Maine or something. Can't be complaining about that. I know Mike Hogan was bitching when he went up there with Ryan for his fight that the weather was terrible. So, you know, you're in Oklahoma. It's not all that bad.
Well, you know what? Oklahoma's a crazy place because one of my friends this morning had her car stolen out of her driveway. So you got to watch out around here.
Oklahoma, rough there. Yeah, Vegas, we have no crime over here.
We got gangsters over there.
Have you ever had your...
Although out here we get a lot of hit and runs, right, Jeff? Get people just running into your car and then bolting off.
Yeah, well, that sure happened to me that's probably about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, this dude was flying. He was going probably about 80. And it was so close to me that it broke just a little bitty piece of my light and just a little scrape on my car. It was like, wow. But I knew he had hit me. I was trying to catch him, but I can't catch him.
Are you sure you just didn't, like, hit a pole in a parking lot or something?
No.
You can tell us if you did.
In the truck.
You
all right, guys.
You can tell us the truth.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and bring on our guest here. We got a hold of her, little difficulties there, but we're proud to bring her on. Happy to have her joining us. Mikaela Mayer. You know, you guys, if you don't know the name, I'm sure you've seen the commercial, the Dr. Pepper commercial. Amateur boxer looking forward to 2016 in Rio. Mikaela, you're on the Jeff Mayweather Show with myself and Ashley Ferrara. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me? Thanks for having me.
You know, Mikaela, actually, I didn't realize I let Ashley know you were coming on the show today, and it turns out she's a big fan, so it was great having you on with her.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter and Instagram and kind of live vicariously through you. You always seem to be doing awesome things, and I'm always going to class and doing boring things. So I do appreciate you posting your updates because it's an awesome chance for me to pretend that I'm not doing boring things.
Oh, my God, I didn't even know. I'm going to have to go follow you back. For sure.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe you can swap modeling agency stories or something. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure she has more than me.
All right.
I mean, all I do is spend my days going to the gym, so I'm sure we're pretty much even. I just make it sound more exciting than it is.
Well, fair enough.
You know, and Mikaela, that's the thing. You know, people think, you know, they'll say that to me. I'm not actually a fighter, but I spend a lot of time in the gym. They say, how cool is that? And I'm like, you know, not really. It kind of gets boring after a while. Standing around watching other people work out all day, it gets kind of boring after a while. But you know, you got to do what you got to do. But speaking of interesting things, you got something really cool coming up, and we really appreciate you joining us because next weekend you got the 2013 boxing national championships there in Tacoma, right? So tell us a little about that.
Yes, it's in Spokane, actually, Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Spokane.
Yeah, so it's our 2013 National Championships. We have it every year. It's the most prestigious tournament for Olympic-style boxers. Well, you know, we're called Olympic-style boxers now. I have to say that because they took the word amateur out of our bylaws. So I'm trying to be correct here. But, yeah, so it's a really important tournament to win. You have to win this tournament every year to stay on the U.S. national team and, you know, be a top pick to go international. You want to win this tournament to compete in the Continental Games, the World Championships, establish a world ranking. So it's pretty important.
Right. So this tournament doesn't really have a direct effect on you making Olympics next time, but what it does mean is qualifying here and winning this allows you to get better experience and competition along the way. Is that right?
Right, exactly. It's not an Olympic qualifying year, but, I mean, it is important just because, obviously, you want to make sure you're developing and getting better, and so you test yourself, you know, by winning tournaments like this. And you get, you know, winning stuff like this gives you the exposure of going international, getting more competition, and getting that experience. So it's different, yeah.
Right. So explain to us, those that aren't from. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was gonna say 2016 seems like a super. Can you hear me? Oh my God! Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's one of those things. There's a delay on the phone. Sorry about that. For those of us that don't follow amateur or Olympic-style boxing, kind of explain how the tournament works. I mean, I was reading a little bit on the website there, and it said there's like 300 to 500 fighters going. So how does it work? You just show up like you don't know who you're fighting, and they just do a random draw, or what will your weekend entail?
Yeah. So I mean, amateur boxing isn't very well by most people like it is in professionals, but I mean, it's super competitive. So we get there, and we'll register on Sunday. Competition starts that Monday, and you put into a bracket. Everyone will be staying up late that night to see what bracket they fall in, who they're fighting first, and assuming you win, you go on to fighting 5 or 6 times to get to the finals. And so, I mean, you're fighting every day. Sometimes you'll get a bye to where you'll get a day off and you get a bye into the next round. But for the most part, it's pretty competitive. It's gotten even more competitive for us women in the last 4 years since they announced the Olympics. So, I mean, it's no joke. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you would have gone to this tournament and maybe gotten 1 or. I mean, now you have to expect to fight at least 5 times. It's just how it is. It's very competitive.
Right. Jeff, do you do any amateur boxing yourself? And have you been to any of these things with any of your guys, with Kevin or Zach or any of those guys?
No, because I had a chance to, because I just have too many fighters to be able to, go to an amateur tournament unless I just don't have the time, because I can't take a week away from my fighters, for a tournament or something like that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is my livelihood. So, I mean, I may send someone on my behalf, someone on my team or something like that, but I can't, do that for an amateur fight.
Right. Mikaela, let me ask you this. With your success and your recent found fame, your little bit of notoriety there, do you find yourself kind of with a target on your back when people get in there? Maybe they try a little harder, knowing it's you, and then trying to make a name for themselves off of beating you?
I do feel a little bit of target on my back. I do know that I'm a top competitor, and I know that, but I don't think it's come from, the recognition I've recently gotten. I think this kind of started last year when we had the 2012 Olympic trials. I had a really good tournament. I had a really good year. I lost in the finals with Queen, but I think people saw me then as I was going to be a top competitor for the next 4 years. And then, I went on to winning Continental Games and then a bronze medal at the World Championship. So I think just this whole last year, I've had a pretty solid year. And I think people are, because of that, people will see me as a top competitor.
Right. So after this tournament here, so you win. I mean, that's what I'm curious about. Your life in general, being an amateur. Is this your whole life? Do you have a regular job? Do you do something else, or is this it for you right now until 2016?
This is it. I'm actually blessed because a lot of us amateur fighters, and there was a point where I had to work and I had to train and I had to go to school, and I was trying to juggle everything all at once. But at this time in my career, I'm really lucky because I am just able to now focus on just training. I don't have to worry about anything else, which is awesome because I've worked to get to this point where this is all I had to worry about, and now I'm there. So I'm like 100% focused, boxing every day, next step, and making that Olympic team. That's all I have on my agenda.
And how does that work? Are you able to get sponsors to help pay for your training, or how does that work with being amateur and obviously you can't get paid, I guess, but you are able to get sponsors?
That's one of the reasons why they're taking the word amateur out, because we are allowed to accept endorsements and sponsorships now, and there was a time a little over a year ago, they recently changed this about a year ago, where we weren't allowed to type of sponsors or endorsements or any type of money unless it went through USA Boxing. It was complicated. But now those doors are open to us. So that's why, some of us girls have been able to go out there and grab those endorsements and grab those sponsorships and kind of make a career out of being an Olympic-style boxer.
Right. And do you think that overall that's helped, with those doors being open, that's really, helped the quality of the talent out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's girls coming out of nowhere now. There's a path for them. There's a ladder to climb in boxing now, and it's been a long time coming, but I really think that things are going to turn around for the women. You have a lot of top amateurs, and they're going to need a place to go after the amateurs, after the Olympics, and so that's going to also help build the pro game too.
Ashley, let me ask you. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I don't know a lot about amateur boxing. Do you follow it at all? And where did you first, learn about Mikaela and become aware of her?
Well, actually, I worked the national championships last year. The men's and some of the women were there too. I actually got to go out to Colorado, get a tour of the USA boxing. And so I've really been following it for a while. I mean, it was a great organization to work with, and the people were just so welcoming. And so I really did start to follow it, leading up to that, and then during that and after. And obviously the first time I ever saw Mikaela was in the Dr. Pepper commercial because, as somebody who pays attention to boxing, and, I probably wouldn't ever want to get hit in the face. And I think that line where, they say that somebody's rearranging your face, I thought, oh, my gosh. So, of course, I looked her up right away, started following her, and, am really just impressed that, about how far and how hard, it seems to work. And I don't know if I heard this correctly or incorrectly, but are they getting rid of headgear at some point for the Olympic style?
Yes. Not just for the Olympic trials. As of next weekend, the open men take off their headgear. Well, they don't have to. There's going to be 2 rings. Because IEBA, which is our governing body, asked for them to take the headgear off, USA Boxing thought it was way too soon to make it mandatory, so they're having 2 rings. There's going to be 1 ring where if you want to leave your headgear on, fine, but you don't get to make the team, you don't get to go international, and you don't really get to go past the national championship. But if you want to go international and you want to compete at the world tournaments, you have to take your headgear off. But it's only for men.
Wow. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that changes, the ability of people to fight back to back to back to back like that?
Totally. I mean, I feel like they're trying to make it too much like the pros. It's a different sport. We fight 5 days in a row, There's going to be cuts. There's going to be cuts, and it's only three or 4 rounds, so the pace is much more.
Did we lose you?
I think so.
Well, I mean, personally, when I heard that, I thought it sounded awful because we do have all these questions about whether boxing is bad for head injuries, and it sounded like headgear was a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jeff, it is, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Mikaela.
No, I'm done.
Hey, Jeff, I was going to get your take on that as far as the headgear. Do you think that's a good idea and for the amateurs?
Well, I mean, I came from an era where we didn't have headgear anyway, so it's nothing new. So basically,
well, then it was knuckle boxing when you were in that era too, though.
Yeah, I mean, 1908. But still, in all honesty, I mean, I don't think that, if these guys are actually going to become pros, they don't need no headgear anyway. The headgear actually hampers a lot of fighters. I ain't going to say every fighter, because some fighters, they feel secure in the headgear. But most fighters that feel confident about themselves and about their ability, they don't even want a headgear, because the headgear blocks their vision. A lot of times they get hit because they can't see the punch coming, because, sometimes the headgear is more of a hindrance than, even though it's about safety, it still doesn't matter, because once you get to that level, once you get to the highest level as an amateur, most of the guys' intention is to go pro. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Well, what do you think about the question of cuts that Mikaela brought up? I mean, it seems like if they're fighting so close together, that would become more of an issue.
No, don't get me wrong. Back when I was fighting, you would fight 2 times in one night, not just that whole week. So I mean, myself, that's why I can say, I don't see a problem with it. But don't get me wrong. At the same time, of course, you're going to have cuts, you're going to have scrapes, you're going to have all these things. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're being prepared to become pros as opposed to you just being amateurs, just being the top amateur.
I think a lot of the men's argument is, why am I going to take this punishment for free? Why am I, I'm not getting paid, so why am I taking my head off? Why am I taking this punishment? I might as well turn pro. And I think that's a lot of their mentalities. You might as well save yourself because it's going to you're going to take a lot of punishment. So I see the argument. I don't know what it's going to do for amateur boxing in the United States. It's going to make a lot of the men want to turn pro. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Isn't it also a lot because of the fact that they think that it's going to be better for ratings? I mean, amateur boxing has pretty much, been dead in the United States, at least for a long time, as far as viewership and that kind of thing. They figure they take the headgear off. It's going to be, get a little more appeal to the mass audiences.
I definitely think that's a factor. I mean, they're not saying that, but from personal opinion, yeah, I think it's going to make it more marketable, more exciting, and hopefully in return you'll get more viewers, more interest from the people, who want to watch boxing.
All right. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Jeff, the one thing that was kind of interesting to me, Mikaela's been here in Vegas for a couple weeks now. It seems like outside of Floyd himself, she's the biggest star in the gym here lately. Your impressions on her and what you've seen in the gym?
Well, I mean, I watched her box, and she's awesome. I mean, I was really, really impressed and actually kind of shocked. I was like, wow, because unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see, I didn't get a chance to see her in the Olympics or anything like that. I did see the commercial, but that doesn't have nothing to do with boxing. So basically, this was actually my first time getting a chance to sit down and actually watch her work, and I was extremely impressed.
And Mikaela just, Mikaela responded to that, and then also, what's it been like getting to come in the gym there and work with, people like Jessica Rakoczy, and you worked with Yolanda, can't remember her last name,
Yzerman.
And then Maricela Cornejo. So tell us about working with those ladies and, what, if anything, they've helped you with.
They're all good. They're all good work. I like sparring different people because, that's what it's like when you go to an amateur tournament. You are going to fight 5 different people, 5 different styles. So Jessica, Mary, Yolanda, they all have different styles. Yolanda's a good, awkward southpaw, and then Jessica is she's got a pretty solid pro style. She's strong. She comes forward. She doesn't back off. And then, she's a lot bigger and stronger than, or I don't know if she's necessarily stronger than me, but she's bigger than me. So it's good to work with different body weights and different styles, and they're all really cool. I like them all. I get along, and I like mixing up and going to different gyms too because you're in the gym every day, and sometimes you got to mix it up and make it a little fun. It's definitely a good, nice switch up.
And what's your reception been like? I mean, people have been treating you well in these gyms and taking them all to you, or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I give off that whole, what are you looking at kind of vibe. I'm pretty much like friendly and smiling all the time, so I wouldn't expect people to treat me any different just because I don't treat anybody else that way. So, but yeah, everyone's been really cool to me.
So what do you know when outside of boxing? I mean, what is your normal day like? I mean, what if you had a day off, what would you normally do? What kind of things are you into?
Well, I'm a total California girl, so if
You there?
She's a California girl. She just surfed off.
It says she's still.
She maybe went to the beach.
It says she's still on there. You there, Mikaela? All right, maybe she'll start talking again here in a minute. Mikaela?
Well, I mean, what I love about her and what I thought I would like is that she's, very down to earth, and I think that's probably hard to find because I think that, some female boxers can get a reputation for, and some of the ones that have, not being divas. I mean, some of the male boxers are big divas, Adrian Broner, but I think it really works in her favor that she's just a genuine person.
All right. Mikaela,
you
back
guys
yet?
all just cut out for a second. I have no idea what you just said.
Oh, well, you cut on us. We heard you were a California girl, and then Jeff said he just surfed on and off. So.
Oh no!
And then
that wasn't the end of
Ashley was. And then Ashley was saying that she'd whoop your ass if she ever meets you in a boxing match, but you missed that part. So we'll let that go.
Good. Good.
No. So go ahead. You're a California girl.
10 years ago, I would have a chance.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'm old.
I mean, I was just saying that I'm a California girl. I like to, if I have the day off and I don't have to go, a competition coming up or whatever, I'm gonna grab my girlfriends. I'm gonna go on the beach all day. That's just me.
Yeah.
Little things, nothing crazy.
Well, and then the one thing, well, you did get cut off. Actually, Ashley was talking about how, you don't come across as, snobby and arrogant. You seem like a really down-to-earth, cool person. That's the one thing that I noticed, too, in the gym, because I didn't even know at first. None of us knew, until someone else said it. And I know Jessica Riccozzi didn't, Maricela Cornejo didn't know until after she sparred with you who you even were. So that's a compliment to you that, some people, there are other amateurs that I won't mention, but seem to have gotten a little bit full of themselves in the fame they've gotten. And it seems, from what, I've noticed that, you're, like you said, you're not, doesn't seem like you're letting anything go to your head and you're still pretty down to earth.
I mean, maybe I came from a family of hippies, so that probably helped. But other than that, I always hope that way. I kind of live my life by this. I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I'm into conclusions. So I just hope that people treat me with that same ideal,
Right. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, whether you want it or not, and you dealt with it, obviously you wanted it because you did it, but, you did get some fame, especially the Dr. Pepper commercial. Overall, has it helped or hurt your, I guess your fighting career? I mean, is it open, is it, like I said, is it a hindrance because there's more demands on you? Obviously, you're doing radio and television or whatever, so how has that helped or hurt your career from a boxing standpoint?
Not even. I've been juggling since I was 15 years old, working, trying to go to school, trying to train, I can multitask. This is nothing. This is great. I'm totally focused on my career now, so everything I do is benefiting, is helping to build my career. So that's not an issue for me at all. I mean, it's actually better.
Right. Well, I'm sure I'm going to ask the most common question you ever get asked is, just as far as, the Dr. Pepper commercial, how did it come about, and, and just walk us through that whole experience.
That was the question, actually, but I'll answer it.
Well, no, I think at first it was a question, then it was a statement, but just comment on it.
They actually called my coach. My coach is Al Mitchell, pretty well-known Olympic coach. He had a lot of top pros, too, like Vernon Forrest, David Reed. And they called him trying to get a hold of me. I guess they just found me over the Internet. They just found some stuff on me over the Internet. And they called, and it was an awesome phone call, obviously. And, we started filming a couple months later.
Right. And how does drinking Dr. Pepper, how does that affect your, drinking so much Dr. Pepper affect your health and your, that kind of thing?
I don't think I drink so much Dr. Pepper, but I really like the whole idea of the commercial, one of a kind, and I just really like the idea of it. Yeah.
Well, the cool thing we have is Jeff, I think we have two of the more unique ladies that you'll ever find anywhere. We have a boxer/model in Mikaela on the show, and then we also have, of course, Ashley, who's a ring card girl/law school student. Two combinations you certainly don't find out there every day, so that's pretty cool. Jeff, what's that?
I was just, Alex, I was kind of nervous for you. I thought for a second you might, be hating on Dr. Pepper and You know, from where the part of the country I live in.
No, I like Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's like church. It's a great thing. people love them some Dr. Pepper around here.
Yeah, no, I have no problem at all with Dr. Pepper. Trust me, I've drank more than my share of it in the past. Jeff, you know, you got to see her work a little bit. You know, you've trained Jessica Rakosa yourself years ago. You worked with her. You know, we'll discuss in a minute. I don't know if she has plans as far as going pro, but you know, how does her ability, from the little bit that you saw, you know, where do you think she could ultimately end up with, you know, her as far as her potential goes?
I mean, she has great potential. I think that she could actually become champion of the world. And, you know, don't get me wrong. One thing with women's boxing is it's a little bit different from men's boxing. You know, I mean, she's an extensive amateur. She has an extensive amateur background. And with that being said, she probably has more experience than some of the girls out there that's probably champion right now.
Right.
And so I think that she has a bright future from what I saw, and I think that she'll be a multiple world champion.
Right. Well, let's ask you, Mikaela. I mean, do you, as far as the, you know, obviously you're busy for the next couple of years doing the amateur thing, but you have the potential. You're getting your name out there. People know who you are. Obviously, you're going to be very marketable in a sport that's dying for marketable fighters. I mean, since Laila Ali, there's really, you know, I think you and Marlon Esparza are probably the two most popular fighters in the women, as far as women go, since Laila Ali retired. So do you think that possibly you'll go pro when your amateur days are done, or are you looking to go somewhere else?
No, it's a good question. I answered this the other day, and it's actually been something, this has been a new thought on my mind, because originally I thought, no, I wouldn't turn pro. There's not much for me in pros. You know, I love the amateurs. I want to win a gold medal. I think that's a better path. But, you know, and I am going to quote myself, but I kind of feel almost like a duty to turn pro, because just to do whatever little thing I can for women's boxing. I mean, I think that girls like me and other top amateurs, I think we need to do whatever we can to help grow the sport. So if I can turn pro a little bit and help, you know, make it a little more popular or do something for it, then I feel like I should. So, yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know, though. I might go for after this. I might turn pro. So many things are going to change in the next 4 years that I really couldn't tell you, but it's a definite maybe.
Yeah, that's what you kind of touched on exactly what I was going to say. You know, I was wondering if you felt any kind of obligation, because, like I said, the sport's, you know, having such a rough time, and you have, you know, champions of the world, some of the best fighters in the world. I think we had Ava Knight on the show, and, you know, this poor girl has, you know, can barely pay her bills with the way, you know, what she gets paid, and she happened to go to Mexico to get fights because there's no interest at all in women's boxing.
I know.
But, you know, with you know, the Olympics, you know, taking the women on now, and with you and Marlon getting that popularity and getting the attention from, you know, the mainstream, you know, doing the commercials, doing the print ads and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was going to say, is it like an obligation? Do you feel to kind of do what you can to get the sport out there?
And there's no doubt that things are going to change for women's boxing. I mean, the fact that we're in the Olympics now, getting this much exposure a year after this has happened. So, you know, give it another 4 or 8 years. I know it may seem like a long time, but it's going to turn around. And I think it's going to be necessary for top amateurs, girls like me, to turn pro and do what I can for the sport. I think it's going to be necessary. You need top competitive female boxers. You know, I think they need to be marketable. I think they need to be skilled and talented and good at their sport, you know. And I think that maybe a lot of us amateurs should consider that, because, you know, it may not benefit us directly, but it'll definitely benefit the next generation of boxers that are coming up.
All right. And then the last thing I want to get into, you know, and I asked this the other day when I interviewed you, but not everybody sees the interviews that listens on the radio. So, you know, the disappointment, you know, not making the last Olympics, you know, you were favored to get there. Did that really motivate you to 2016? I mean, do you think it's ultimately going to be I don't want to say a good thing, because not making the Olympics is never a good thing, but, you know, ultimately it's going to help you become a better boxer, make you more driven to succeed in the future?
You guys cut out again. Yeah, I'm back.
Did you hear my question or no?
Nope, didn't hear it.
I was gonna say, you know, you didn't make the last Olympics. You're favored to get there. I'm just wondering, how did that affect you mentally? I mean, like I said, it's not a good thing not to make the Olympics, but ultimately, do you think it'll help you and make you more driven because, you know, when you get a taste of failure, that makes you want to succeed that much more?
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you this before. I mean, I immediately developed that goal to go for 2016. I mean, minutes after I lost in the finals of Olympic trials. I mean, obviously I was depressed and I was sad and it hurt and it was hard to deal with because I put so much time and effort. But, I mean, I knew that I still had this goal. I still had this dream and I was going to go for it again. So I have so much more to learn. Like, I'm taking these 4 years, you know, I'm looking at it as a good thing. Like, hey, I have this much time to get better. I'm not going to go in there and just try and make the team. Like, I want to go in there and good enough to win a gold medal. So I'm just trying to look at it in the best way possible.
Right. And did you feel extra, like, any extra pressure at all? Like I said, having the commercial and do that kind of thing, did that weigh on you a little bit and then, you know, affect you at all?
I mean, I've always believed in myself, and I'm hoping that, you know, having this commercial, I'm hoping that, you know, now other people believe in me too. And so there's a little pressure in that sense, but, you know, I really can't worry about that. Like, I'm doing what I love. I'm working the hardest that I possibly can. There's going to be people who hate on me for it, and there's going to be people who love me for it, and I just learned to accept that. So I'm going to have to deal with the pressure. It just comes to the territory. But boxing, being a boxer, you learn how to deal with that pressure every time you step in the ring. So hopefully I've gotten pretty good at it, and, yeah, I got a good mindset about it, but I'm still just working hard and trying to conquer my goals. I'm trying not to worry about everyone else and their expectations.
I hear you. All right, Ashley, I know, like I said, I know you're a fan of hers. What else did you have for Mikaela before we wrap things up?
I don't really have, I mean, I'm just excited to, you know, watch your career and see how this weekend goes especially, too. And, I mean, I think the best thing that you did was, and anybody needs to do is, you know, just move on from whatever loss. I mean, so many people can't do that, and it's a testament to your character that you can do that. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited to watch, and Rio's way cooler than London anyway, so.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Rio? I would totally want to go to Rio, but London, nah.
I was in London, too. They took me as Queen's sparring partner, but they just kind of, like, kept me locked up in this school. I had to go train twice a day. I wasn't had a curfew of 10 o'clock, so it was just depressing.
Well, Rio's going to be way cooler, so I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, you got the beaches, you got red meat, red wine for after.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, after she's done competing, for sure. You don't want to be doing that before.
I said after.
She said after.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, what about you? Just as far as you know, we've had so many. You know, we've done our part, I think, to promote women. You know, we've had a ton of girls on the show, fighting amateurs and pro alike. So, you know, just going forward, what do you know, what would you like to see out of Mikaela, and what do you think about the sport?
Well, I mean, I think Mikaela said it best. You know, she has an obligation. You know, not necessarily, but you know, she probably does feel that, you know, she's one of the stars in boxing. Her face is out there. It's on TV. People know who she is. So, I mean, it's almost like it's my duty to step up, you know, and become a professional and help the sport grow. You know, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean she's doing it for the generation behind her, as opposed to, you know, doing it for herself. Because, you know, I can understand that, because the fact of, like I said, her being who she is, people are aware of who she is, you know, and if she doesn't turn pro, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, and women's boxing is really, it needs somebody out there now for the fans to gravitate to follow and say, wait a second, this is the person we want to get behind. So I think that she said it best.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So, Mikaela, just tell us, real quick, your travel plans. I mean, how long are you here in Vegas for? When are you heading up to Washington? And then after that, just, for your fans and people interested in getting to know you a little bit, where they can keep up with you on the social media stuff.
Yeah, so I'm here in Vegas till Friday, and then I drove my car up here. I'm from L.A., so I drove my car up here. I'm going to drive it back home Friday. My plane leaves out of L.A. Saturday, and I'll be up in Spokane for about a week. And then, yeah, if you want, the fights actually might be streaming live on the internet. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, or Mikaela Mayer 1 is my Twitter handle, I'll be keeping everyone updated on where they can get the link to the fights and how I'm doing.
Well, we definitely look forward to it, and and wishing you the best, and you get to come out of there, and what do you have to finish? What place do you have to finish? What place to be able to make the team and that kind of stuff?
Huh?
How do you have to finish in this tournament in order to make the travel team and that kind of thing?
Usually it's number one. You have to win to make the national team, but then they'll focus on getting maybe the top 3 experience. They're changing the rules now, so top 4 make the national. So which is good because they're really going to try and develop not just number 1, but they're going to try and develop number 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that we aren't just pushing one person through the international rankings. We're trying to develop as many boxers as we can. So I actually think it's a good thing.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you compete there and getting to see more than just commercials. We want to see you in the ring there, too. So definitely we'll hope that's streaming there. And we'll post it on the website, too, for people to check that out. And best of luck to you in there. And we look forward to big things from you in the future. Thanks so much for stopping by tonight.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for having me. Nice talking to you all.
You too.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, guys, that was Mikaela Mayer. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to get to talk to her. And like Ashley said, she sounds really cool, really laid back. So it's nice when you have someone that's getting that new bit of success there, but they're still really down to earth. So that's really cool to catch up with her. Jeff and Ashley, anything else before we wrap things up here that you want to add?
I don't have anything.
Well, give us the usual then. Where can they catch up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ashley Ferrara or Instagram at Ashley Ferrara Model. So that is that.
Yeah. Jeff, since you know what you're doing now, so I don't have to do it for you.
Oh. I don't
you
know.
Can do it.
I can't remember.
It's Jeff Mayweather 1. How the hell can you remember your name with a 1 behind it?
Oh, because the 1 should be in front.
Yeah, follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff Mayweather 1. Check out the website, Pro Boxing Insider. We apologize for Brian. We're supposed to get on here. We'll try to get him scheduled for next week. I said it's 3 days before his fight, so who knows what happened, but apologize for that. We'll get him on next week, and we look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks to Mikaela Mayer and Jeff and Ashley, and we will talk to you next week. Take care.
Sounds good. Bye.